Hello, my name is Olga Strashun. Happy to see you at my presentation. Anything can be expressed and analyzed through its hologram in the search for reliable information. My fascination with holograms dates back to 1987, when working as a medical doctor in a hospital emergency ward. I ended up in a subtle energy research laboratory founded by the USSR Ministry of Space, the equivalent of NASA. At that time, we had such a lack of technology in our medical system. Working over 12 years in two city hospitals, neither one of them had ultrasound equipment, never mind the MRI machines. So I was actively looking for a system that could improve my diagnostic skills in the absence of this equipment and in turn improve the lives of my patients. The lab had been founded by the ministry in 1983 to conduct extensive research on how and where subtle energy could be used. If you would like to get an introduction to subtle energy, you can go to the Society for Scientific Exploration and Parapsychological Association YouTube channel and watch my presentation. The Vibrational World of Subtle Energy. The head of the lab was renowned physicist Dr. Vadim Polyakov, who gave seminars where we were trained in meditation to increase our abilities to concentrate, develop our extrasensory perception. This was in order to help Dr. Polyakov develop his system of using holograms, 3D vibrational forms of people's organs, to evaluate their condition from a distance. For that, we needed to concentrate on the name of the person we were checking up and hang up an image of this person's organ in the air and check for sensations with our hand. The idea was very intriguing, so I started to analyze holograms at my hospital shifts too. Before meeting the patient, I would check the holograms of her organs from the distance, hiding behind the wall, so as not to raise questions about my sanity. I was looking for abnormal sensations on my hand. For example, warm, prickly sensations commonly indicated inflammation. Dull, rubbery sensations meant that the organ was hypofunctioning. However, if the sensations felt very unpleasant from some areas of the hologram on my hand, this could indicate a malignant tumor. I later compared my findings with results from traditional diagnostic methods. The seemingly impossible had come true. Diagnostics from a distance was possible. That was my first encounter with holograms, without any knowledge of how subtle energy works. In 1988, before we left the USSR for Canada, I decided to devote my life to the study of subtle energy and its applications. During my first 3 years of establishing my wellness counseling practice in Toronto, I focused on further developing my diagnostic skills, on creating a data bank of how different vibrations felt and what they meant, leading to my way of healing my patients and bringing them back into balance. As I started to look for explanation for my findings, the first book I encountered was The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot, a remarkable book that directed me to the ideas of physicist David Bohm. In 1970, David Bohm formulated his view that the universe operates by holographic principles and is itself a gigantic cosmic hologram. But unlike a regular hologram, like one you might find in a science museum, where an image is fixed, he postulated that out there nothing is fixed. Bohm looked at reality as if it consisted of two levels. The first level, which he called the unfolded or explicit order, is the world in which we function, where everything appears to be separately existing parts. The other, deeper level he called the enfolded or implicate order, the level of subatomic reality, one that he referred to as the field of quantum potential. This deepest level of reality penetrates the whole of space and does not have the property of locality. It is everywhere. A fundamental postulate of subtle energy, which equates to Bohm's field of quantum potential, is that everything in the universe, without exception, vibrates, and that vibrations carry information. This is crucial to state before we continue. Everything in the universe, therefore, has a dual nature, a solid aspect and a vibrational aspect. Vibrations emanating from objects form their energy fields, but also have a life of their own. All vibrations go into the cosmic hologram that Bohm saw like a carpet, where the backing of the carpet is the holographic plate made of the field of quantum potential, and the ornament has weaved into it vibrations from the past, present and future, stored there in an inactive state. There are no special compartments for the past, present and future. They are all together. All vibrations are in inactive state, waiting to be activated. What is the trigger for the production of an active hologram? It's the moment when the thought factor is applied, when we start to think about a subject of our interest. Our concentration, like a laser beam, comes into resonance with the relevant vibrations stored in the cosmic hologram, automatically increasing their velocity to the level that we start to sense them, pulling them out, and immediately, almost at no time, create a 3D image in our heads of that subject. And this is a hologram. This is an untapped power of our minds. Holograms are the products of interaction of our minds with a cosmic hologram or directly with an object subject of our interest. They do not have an electromagnetic component. They are pure, subtle energy vibrational forms. What is going on inside the hologram? The same is happening in the subject-object of our interest. So working with holograms, we are working with the object-subject of our interest itself. We can learn to pull out any needed information coded into a hologram if we train ourselves to analyze these holograms, to interpret what these vibrations mean. We will have incredible tools to get objective information about anything. I will come back to talk about what makes this information reliable. Everything can be represented through holograms, even such an intangible thing as a thought. Holograms are incredible tools for getting information. First of all, in this form, information is available for us at any time and from anywhere, because subtle energy doesn't have locality and penetrates the whole space. Secondly, we need just a couple pieces of information. The rest will be built into the hologram automatically. Also, we can give our hologram any size and shape depending on how detailed we need our information to be. I use two ways to construct a hologram. We can place it in the air, hanging right in front of us. For that, we can visualize a rectangular or oval frame of a needed size in front of us and place a couple pieces of available information into it, concentrating on it for a couple of seconds before starting to analyze it for its vibrations. Another way to construct a hologram is to put available information into a frame on a piece of paper and work with it there. I developed my method of, I call it subtle energy profiling, by using a pen to follow the stream of energy, thus making visible what is happening inside and around the holograms. Here's a simple example. I'm looking on Amazon for the best quality herbs and supplements for me and my family. I find different brands and my task is to find out which ones offer the best product. The size of an energy field around a product speaks directly to its quality. The bigger the energy field, the better the quality. On a piece of paper, I draw a few small rectangular frames and then place the image of each product into its own frame, writing the name of the product inside the frame. Now I need to measure the size of the energy field around each brand. I use my hand pen antenna to do it. Holding a pen perpendicular to the piece of paper, I start to move it along a horizontal line from outside the frame toward it, feeling the sensation against my hand pen antenna as I go. The moment when it feels like my pen is stumbling against a wall, however subtle, I place a dot. This sensation means that I've hit the outer part of the energy field around the hologram. I continue to this fashion with every product I'm checking. When I'm done, I look to see which product has the largest energy field around it, and this indicates the highest quality choice among the options. After that, I can see which herbs are in resonance with me or the person for whom I am doing my research. Each frame I mentally link to the person and ask if this herb is good for his or her problems, checking again the size of each energy field around our frames. As we do this, the product with the biggest increase in its energy field will be our choice. It is like a muscle test, but holograms give us an opportunity to have an answer in the absence of the product and the person for whom we're doing this search. If I don't have a paper and pen, I will hang hologram in the air and check the size of an energy field around them with my finger, using it like a hand pen antenna. We can use these frames to build a hologram of any business, simply by knowing the name of the business, some information about it, and the rest will be automatically included into a hologram. We can do a predictive analysis of how this business will do in the future, because information about the past, present, and even future is accessible and is stored in the cosmic hologram. When we want to see if any artery is blocked, we can build a hologram of the white tube where we can put our finger inside it to feel if the flow of energy is blocked or not. We can create a hologram of a cathedral that is the size of a shoebox if we want to find out when it was built. For that, we make a hologram of it and position it in front of us so we can sense its vibrations with our hand. Then we create another hologram of it, representing its state, let's say 100 years ago, concentrating on the date and the cathedral itself, once again checking the activity in the hologram. As we go further back in time, constructing its hologram at dates further in the past, we will eventually reach the point where we feel no activity whatsoever in the hologram. This indicates that at this point in time, the cathedral had not yet been built. The method is very reliable when we need to find out when certain artifacts were made. We can use holograms not only for information, but to work on them like with any impaired organs or body part to heal. Norm was my client of many years, whom I helped on many occasions, starting from finding a cancerous polyp in his bowel when he first came to me just for checkup, and a few years later when he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. He lived at that time 2 hours outside of Toronto, so couldn't come to me for sessions. So I offered to teach him how to use a hologram of his prostate to eliminate the tumor. He worked on the image of his prostate twice a day for 5-6 minutes, cleaning, eliminating the tumor and putting the highest frequency vibrations into his prostate. After a few weeks, the biopsy showed that his prostate was free from cancer. When we look at any photograph or painting as a hologram, we can find layers of information that we can analyze from. Information about people in the picture, who they are, their relationships, etc. The same with a painting about the painter, if it's a portrait, even an abstract one about the person in it. The game is absolutely endless. With the proper training and knowledge, we can access complete and reliable information about anyone's traits. Working with chakras for many years and being fascinated with this system from the Ayurvedic tradition, it is clear to me that what we called our mind is formed in these energy centers. Each chakra is responsible for development of a specific aspect of our nature. And how we deal with life depends on the development of each of our chakras. If we know the level of a given chakra's development, we can assess that person's capacities in that area of life and how they react to life. In other words, we can understand their true nature. I can use holograms of people for subtle energy profiling that allows me to evaluate the development of each chakra and get an understanding of a person's abilities and how they are used in daily life, even without meeting a person. To do this, I use a simple drawing of a body frame where I put a couple pieces of information like name, voice over the phone, or the look of the person that caught my attention about into it, and measure the diameter of each chakra on the skin level where it belongs to, using a hand pen antenna to put a dot where when I hit the end of a diameter. The diameters of first, second and third chakras always take a space beyond the body frame if they are well developed. We need to see a proportion between the size of a diameter and the body frame. On the Strashun Institute Instagram, I did a lot of subtle energy profiles of well-known public figures to show how it works. The more you play with holograms, the clearer your understanding will be of how they work. You can use hologramming for important subjects or just for fun. You can check the hologram of a bottle of wine before you purchase it, or use it to choose which movie to watch. With practice, they will become a part of your daily personal and professional life. After more than 30 years of using them, it's still fascinating to me how quickly any hologram can be created for literally any subject of interest. I was very lucky that at the very beginning of my journey with subtle energy, I was in a hospital environment because it gave me the chance to validate my findings with traditional medical tests. This gave me a strong and confident foundation for using holograms to assess reliable information about anything. To avoid mistakes in the interpretation of this information, the most important thing is our state of mind when we are hologramming. It is absolutely imperative to bring your mind into a neutral state before turning your attention to the subject of your interest. A neutral state of mind is one of which nothing stands in the way of your receiving the necessary information. I call it the point zero state of mind. The very second you lose control over your thoughts and emotions, you are altered the information and it is no longer objective. By achieving point zero state of mind and using hologramming in order to assess subtle energy, whole new worlds of information will open up for you. Whether you're a healthcare professional, a healer of any kind, a theorist, or just a layperson who wants more accurate information about what is going on around you, holograms are available to you at any time. The world of vibrational information has truly been right under our noses all the time. Now, armed with these principles and techniques, we can live more consciously and successfully. Thank you for attending my lecture. I'll be happy to answer your questions now.